What if I told you that I just built a recreation of one of the world's most intense roller coasters that you haven't heard of? Meet ArieForce One, a steel roller coaster located at Fun Spot in Atlanta. Now, up until recently, Fun Spot theme parks have only really been tailored towards families. However, in 2021, they would debut their newest and most thrilling attraction yet, ArieForce One, a ground-up, fully steel roller coaster built by Rocky Mountain Construction. It feels wrong to call this a hybrid coaster because, unlike most other RMC hybrids, this one does not have a wooden support structure. It looks very similar, however. In fact, it's fully steel. While I haven't personally had the time or money to go to America, this coaster is definitely on my list for when I do. So because of that, I decided to build it out of K'NEX. As with all of my builds, I started with the brake run at the very back of the build and then worked backwards to ensure every element had the correct amount of speed. The brake run uses these small 3D printed clips which clip into the tubing on the side of the track. These will hold an aluminium bar which will react with magnets on the bottom of the train, bringing the train's speed all the way down. And these are not ArieForce One trains, so let's make some. So I've just discovered that ArieForce One actually has two different colours of trains. They have this mostly blue train with the red accents, and they also have a mostly red train with blue accents. Now that's fine because I have red and blue filament. This is actually my favourite red filament, and the colour looks really good. I also have some blue filament in, but it's a different brand and it's not quite the right colour. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some more of this fire truck red and try and find some of the blue from eSun. But this leftover blue Overture PLA is going to be perfectly fine for me to test run. So let's hop into Tinkercad and get these new side panels designed. It's times like this when I really wish I had a multicolored 3D printer. So the good thing about RMCs is that they're all the same shape and design, they're just like different colors and different theming. So I can just reuse the same lap bar and bases that I took from Zadra, and then also the Zadra side panels, and just edit it so that I can make it look more like a different RMC. So I've managed to get the panels done for this, and one thing I'm looking into is the multicolor FDM printing. You see, I'm hoping that because FDM, like regular PLA, is a lot cheaper than resin, I'm hoping that the multicolor one will also be a lot cheaper than resin. Okay, so I think I've managed to get a front car here ready, and also a middle car that should work. So let's give it a test. New RMC front. Go. Okay, so I've just printed off the front car as a tester, and let's give it a test. There's no way this is going to fit first try. No way. It fits. That could not be any closer to the edge. No way. Hold up, let's put all four on. Oh, that looks amazing, man. I could not have made the car any smaller than what it currently is. That is so good. Oh yeah, that looks amazing. The model is perfect. These bars clip into place perfectly. I just put like a little tiny dab of glue under this bit and a little tiny dab of glue behind each bit there, and the bars are like solid, they don't come off. Now I'm like super excited for the side panels to come to really bring the whole train together. So I've just finished the design for ArieForce One, and all we need to do is print off this nose cone, which I'm going to be printing in two separate parts. I've got the white and the top blue set. So let's get it sliced, swap the old red filament for white, and get it off on the printer. Off it goes. Alright, so the front nose piece is just finished printing in white, so now I've got the blue one on there. Just a few days later and the multicolored side panels arrived, and it was time to glue them into place and finally finish the train. So now that the train is done, it was time to get started on the actual layout. I had a lot of the track work done before I finished the train, so in some of these clips you may notice me using the old Formula Rossa design as a placeholder. But anyway, the first things I worked on was of course the quad down. 4 airtime hills in a row, leading into the brakes. People say this can be the most intense airtime of the entire ride. While editing, I just realised I didn't film a lot of the back section, so I'll just explain it instead. ArieForce has this back section that travels over a building twice, and while doing it, it has these really fast inline twist or 0G roll things. They were quite easy to build, but I did have to make sure that the train had enough speed to complete this whole portion, as this section of the build was actually one of the lower points of the ride, meaning that the train had to get off of the top of the double up, travel quite low around this back section, and then raise back up, ready for the quad down. Luckily, I had just enough space indoors to where I could build all the way back to the top of the double up, and there I was able to just about test it to make sure that it had enough speed to get back. And I have to say, I'm really happy with how these twists came out, especially the heart lining. It just looks so perfect. I actually remember my old Colossus recreation had terrible inline twists. Once the back section was packed away ready for filming day, I got to work building the rest of the double up, and luckily straight track sections tend to be a lot faster for me to build compared to turns and twists, so this section didn't take very long. Once the double up was finished, I got to work on the outer bank. Okay, so I've got the outer bank almost finished now. I feel like it's looking pretty good. The outer bank was fairly simple, and after adding the blue and red track, it was finished. Now this next portion of the build took me quite a while. I don't know what it is about zero G stalls that just takes it out of me mentally, but this thing took me almost a full week to get right. I ended up having to build this curved truss to hold the track upside down, and then build the valley sections before and after the stall first. After this, I ended up connecting them, but leaving the track just sort of freely floating in the air while I figured out how to build the supports around them. And then once that was done, I sort of tweaked the shaping to give it some better heart lining, and then added extra supports to make sure it was nice and strong. Right here I'm adding in the first drop so that I can build the entrance to the stall, as they're both right next to each other. Now we are so close to finishing the ArieForce One recreation. I just needed to build the turnaround element, the first drop, and the little speed hill. These parts were fairly simple and didn't take as long as I thought they would, and I ended up finishing the project in record time, just under 4 weeks for a full project. Now that it's all finished, it was time to take everything outside and film it for a music video. I just wanted to take a moment to thank every single one of you for all the support on the channel recently. I'm on a 0-hour contract at work, and for about 3 or 4 months ago, they stopped giving me any hours. And if it wasn't for you guys supporting my content through channel memberships, gifts, buying 3D printed trains from my shop, or watching any of the ads that show on my videos, I would not have survived this past 4 months. I truly do appreciate every single one of you for allowing me to do this basically as a part-time at-home job. And that's why this video is actually sponsored by me. That's right, I was not able to get a sponsor in time for this video, so if you want to support me, the best thing you can do is like the video, leave a comment, and make sure you watch 100% of the entire video to increase the watch time to help push the video in the algorithm. So without further ado, here is ArieForce One.